Hi, guys.
Hi.
Hi, Blake.
And hi to the listener right now. Welcome to our roundtable discussion of One Night One Shot Seravene. Roundtable wrap up debrief, whatever you want to call it. How's everybody doing?
Good.
Good. Yeah.
Great.
Got to actually listen to this thing that we recorded 9 months ago now?
Yes.
Something like that.
Something like that.
Every moment was a surprise. I was on the edge of my seat. I completely forgot what happened.
It was not a surprise for Blake and I.
Yeah,
because
no.
We've been working on this for
Furiously-
the past 9 months.
Furiously editing.
Yeah.
Yeah, Shaina and I got to walk away.
Yeah, you did.
Brendan and I won't always be the ones, editing it, or at least one of other people will be the GM sometimes too. So usually that person will be more involved because they'll know what the necessary things are that need to go into the story.
To make creative choices,
Right.
like a director.
All right, so why don't we just go around and remind everyone who we are and who we played. So I am Blake Stadnik, and I was the dungeon master for this campaign.
Yeah, I'm Ethan Williams. I played Casper.
I'm Shaina Vencel, and I played Sini Spetgood.
I am Brendan Grayson, and I play Velty Hemlock.
So shall we go like episode by episode? Does that sound good?
Ooh, yeah, that's
Sounds
fun.
good. Let's do it.
Okay, so in episode 1, so first off, in case anyone is unclear who's listening, we played through this story all in one night. That is the name of the show, One Night One Shot. So
This is the conceit of
Right.
the show.
So Brendan and I had to figure out places in which the episode breaks could be. And luckily there were like different scenes that kind of allowed there to be breaks. So that's why like we weren't coming back to the table. We were really just playing all in one night. So episode 1, you guys found out what we met your characters, then you found out what you were going to be doing with the merchant guild, and then you went to your hideout and picked the Lantern of the Veil as your magic item, and then we ended with you guys deciding that you were going to go investigate Seraldi's palazzo. So, like, what were your first impressions of listening to it? Like, would you have done anything differently? Like, go ahead.
I think because it's our first one entirely. Like, yes, we've been playing our own campaign, regular D&D for a while, but because it was like the first of this new thing, I wish I would have. I was a little nervous, so I was. Holding
I was
back
too.
a little. Yeah. I was holding back a little bit, I feel like, and I didn't want to, I don't know, as I was listening, I was like, oh, like this could have been a moment, or that could have been a moment, or I could have explored this or that, but there was almost like a scared to speak kind of thing happening for me.
Yeah, it's funny, I calculated a little while ago, I can't remember how long ago it was, but I have DM'd well over 1,000 hours of D&D.
Wow.
Because like during the pandemic, it was like what allowed me to survive creatively.
Yeah.
And now I run 2 games for LGBTQ youth at the theater near my house. So I'm doing that, every week as well. And yet, as soon as we put the microphones on and we were like, we're going to record this, I'm like, I have forgotten everything about Dungeons and Dragons.
Oh, fucking daunting.
Yes.
Listening back, I was sitting there going, oh yeah, I remember the moment that I went, oh fuck, we're recording. Because yeah, we have played our own home game together for, geez, we just hit 3 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think today, as of recording, this is the 3-year anniversary of starting.
Oh, happy
our home
anniversary,
game.
guys.
Happy anniversary. That's
Happy
right.
anniversary.
Nice.
It's been a while though. We need to get back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We do.
Well,
we're busy.
I mean, to be fair, this has taken a lot of
We're
time.
booked.
Yeah, they've
we're
kinda-
booked. We booked ourselves.
Shaina and I are like, we gotta get back to D&D. And Blake and
Man,
Brendan
guys,
are
what?
like, we never left.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well,
Bring
now
me to
that
a
we've
session, I'm like, I'm back in the fucking building again.
now that
Building.
we've like done one of these though, I think we'll be able to like, you know, we know how it needs to be done now. A lot of this was troubleshooting. So
Yeah.
now that we've kind of developed a system, I think we'll be able to get through it more quickly.
Yeah, and no
Um,
spoilers, but I feel like a lot of these things got ironed out in our second one. What? Does that exist yet? Who knows?
Well, there are some other problems with the second one that are my fault.
Oh no!
We can. We'll talk about that. At
Oh
some
no!
point.
Okay.
Some technical
Oh,
issues.
no.
Some technical issues. It's all right.
That was.
remember those now.
I can't wait for the second campaign debrief because I'm gonna have so much to say about that day.
Oh
Sure.
no!
Holy shit.
Oh no.
Yeah, I remember at the end of the day. Yeah.
Listen, arc 3, campaign 3 is going to be flawless.
Yeah.
That one doesn't
times
exist
it's
yet, but it's gonna be awesome.
It's gonna exist, I promise.
Yeah. So in the midst of editing and everything, I will tell you, the first thing that I was struck by is how easy, in spite of me crapping myself having to DM on microphone for the first time, how easy it is to DM for you guys. Brendan, for people at home, Brendan is normally our dungeon master for our home game.
Mhm.
That is true.
So this is my first time being the DM for you guys, and
Yeah.
and the way you guys improv together is great. Like I can just set the scene. Like I just can describe the things and just like, and now you go and you just do it and it's great. Because like there have been games, especially being the DM for young people, sometimes you have to be like, okay, now it's time for you to play the game now. But for you guys, it's awesome. And then just editing and like this story is kind of telling itself. Like there were times where I had to be like, actually I need to talk for a second.
Yeah, like that's
yeah, go ahead.
first of all, that's so lovely to hear, and that is something that I noticed too when we were doing it. It was a little nerve wracking, but like it kind of felt like I don't know what the hell I'm doing, but here we go, let's play, and we did it. And then listening back, it was like, oh, this makes sense. This is a story. This is a scene that I can picture even from the outside, not even having the perspective of having done it, but like we did do that well, and that's something I didn't notice until I was on the outside of it, I guess, which is
Yeah.
really cool.
Yeah. I actually think this is a good time to bring in one of our listener questions. So we have a few. Nick in New York City sent us a couple, and I think a couple of them here are actually really good for this moment. One is, in character creation, how many loose ends do you guys leave for the DM to weave into the story? And do you talk with one another ahead of time to make sure your skills complement each other?
How much did we talk to
Yeah.
each other about these? It wasn't too much crossover in terms of us actually like showing our hands to each other
Yeah.
before we got started. I think we double checked to make sure that nobody was like playing the same class.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Beyond that, I think we gave very cursory baseline like race, class, 2 sentences of backstory.
Yeah.
I think that
something like
was
that.
it. It was just,
Yeah.
I mean, you, Brendan, you were like, I think it was Harangon. I think I said I would really like someone to play an artificer, because it fits with the world. And Brendan was already like, Brendan was like, I'm already planning a Harengon artificer, so I got you.
Yeah, I was like, I've got a rabbit with a robot. That'll be pretty cool to
Little
see in this
R&R.
world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Love a rabbit with a robot.
I got the vibe that, I mean, we've all, like we said, we've been playing the same campaign for 3 years now. I think we all had classes or races or spells or things that are not in our builds in the home game that we've all been itching to try out. For me in particular, I have really been wanting to play a changeling for a while. And Brendan has a cat now.
There's a kitty!
Yeah.
You guys can't see,
Twister.
but it's great.
Twister.
Yeah, so there was definitely, I love the character creation part of D&D. That's one of the most exciting parts.
Yeah. Me
Yep.
too.
Yeah, I
And
agree.
so
Yup.
getting to sit down and check some stuff off the list as I think I'd just gotten the Planescape bundle and was reading through that and doing all of these things where I got into the weeds of it.
I will tell you that if anyone asks to be a changeling bard again in one of my campaigns, I now understand what that entails, and I will be prepared for it.
Oh my goodness.
We'll talk about that when
we'll
we
get
start
there.
talking about episode 3.
We'll get there.
Yeah.
Yeah. I also definitely wanted to do something different than our normal campaign, but God, I love a rogue. It was really hard to get away from it, but then the soul knife aspect of it was so freaking cool. So when I found that in Tasha's Cauldron of everything, I was like, that's the one. That's what we're doing.
Yeah, those psionic whispers really came in handy for you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We
That came
all
in
had
clutch.
it.
For an incredibly roleplay heavy one shot.
Yeah. And that is, we did sort of going into this say that we wanted roleplay to be
Yeah,
in
at
the forefront because
Well, we
ultimately,
sure did.
yeah, ultimately these
we didn't enter combat once.
Did we think that would be the case?
Nope.
Maybe not.
We'll talk about that in a moment. But yeah, we said that the roleplay aspect is going to be front and foremost because these are ultimately stories that we're telling. Like, we kind of imagined these as being sort of a radio play that is just using D&D or some type of TTRPG as the framework of telling the improvised story.
Yeah, and I think to build on that a little bit that's also why like this particular show is not the same as your like weekly actual play podcast, which as Blake and I have said many times, those are they're all great, and but they're number one, they're daunting to get into just because some of them and some of the more famous ones have hundreds upon hundreds of hours of content
in a single campaign. Yeah.
But also
talking about no show in particular.
About no show in particular. But also, like, I think one thing that we wanted was we wanted each of these seasons to feel like an event. Like each one is it's almost like a movie coming out or like a limited, like a mini series.
Yeah.
Like it releases over the course of a month, and then you wait a little bit for the next one, but it's worth it.
We didn't get to the other part of the question on loose ends.
Yeah.
Sure.
And that I find is a really cool question to ask because I do love
Loose
trying
ends.
to leave breadcrumbs of things that can come back. That's one of the most fun parts of backstory character creation for me.
Absolutely.
I think definitely in a longer campaign, I love when a player leaves loose ends for me to then weave into the story. With these one shots, it's a little harder to kind of do that stuff, but I still think it is possible. We didn't really do a whole lot in this first one, but I think in our second one, we did a little bit more, and I think we'll be able to do more of that as we go on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I built out I basically wound up telling a story for Casper in my backstory that was just for me, where I was like, I find this very fun. Knowing that it would not come into play. There's one little bit, one of the last things I say at the end of episode 3, but that was just kind of a little nod that was just for me.
Right.
And looking back, I'm like, that means nothing to the audience. But
but that also serves the improvising that you guys got up to. I mean, when you have that backstory to draw from, it makes embodying the character and reacting to each other in real time, I think, a lot easier.
Yeah. It definitely embellishes the world a little bit. It feels a little less like a one-shot and a little bit more like, that these characters have some life to them.
Yeah.
Yeah, it feels like a slice from almost a larger campaign.
Yes, exactly.
Which I think is the goal.
Yeah. I mean, I love to be surprised. So, as long as anything that you, Blake, had, done for my character or would have or in the future or whatever, as long as it's not like directly contradicting to something that I set in stone, I love to be surprised, throw it at me. And
I mean, I think we were all surprised. We were all very surprised when we learned that Sini's previous name was Carmina Sant'Angelo.
Yeah.
I know. Listening back, I was like, did I say that like clearly enough? Like, is this joke landing? And also, Sini's catchphrase, I fully intended for y'all to like really make something silly. Like, now you Sini, now you're on fire. I don't know. I was really hoping for something weird, but we went with, that's okay.
Well, yeah, you set it up and we spiked it right where it needed to go, I think.
Yeah, exactly.
There's one thing I'm going to do is take the low-hanging fruit.
Yeah. Okay, so episode 2, we picked up with you guys going to Palazzo Caravallo to investigate the murder scene. And I can say right now, this was the moment in our one-shot where I was very concerned because I had said to you that you have 2 paths in front of you. You can either go speak to the quote-unquote witnesses, Donata and Brother Ronaldo, or you can go investigate the crime scene. And I don't know why this is such a bad DM thing to be doing, but I fully anticipated you guys talking to the witnesses first. And I was planning the campaign, the one shot, as if that's what you were going to do.
Oh no.
And then you're like, we're gonna go to the palazzo.
Oh my god.
And that is, I mean, as someone who has DM'd 1,000 hours of D&D, you should know that's what happens. But I don't know why. I was just threw that out. And so I just had to like call an audible in my brain and was like, yep, okay, that's what we're doing. And it ended up working out right. And actually, it makes sense as investigators that you would go look at the crime scene first. I don't know why, but so yeah, that was.
We want to get our hands dirty.
Yeah, that was my first moment of actual panic, but I think it ended up working out.
I didn't know.
Really
I did not notice.
Well, that's the benefit of being an actor. You can hide when
there
you're
you
panicked.
go.
But so yeah, was there anything that stood out to you when listening back to the investigation portion of the episode 2?
I again, like I've relived these moments so many times while we've been working on the show. But I think it's not noticeable, the transition, that there was any kind of like change in plans. It did really feel like we had these choices set out before us, which I think was great.
Mm-hmm.
And that is something with a one-shot that is different than a full campaign, where a full campaign is often much more of a sandbox, where you can go anywhere. And with a one-shot, you don't want it to be totally on rails, but you do want there to be some choice. So I said, you have 3 paths in front of you. Go back to the headquarters and get your magic item, which is what you did end up doing first. And then you could talk to witnesses, go to the palazzo. So the order in which you did things was totally up to you, but you had 3 things to do.
Yeah, and I don't think I ever felt the sign that it was a well-made and well-planned out one-shot. I never felt like we were on rails.
Yeah.
That was never
Good.
the sensation that I had. I think for me, the reason that I was so eager to go to the crime scene, one, I did feel like, the natural move as an investigator, because I've watched a lot of Law and Order. They always start at the crime scene.
If you've watched any procedural, geez, that is what they do. But my brain was like, they're going to talk to the witnesses first.
You were planning your accents and your voices and your people. That's why.
Maybe that's what it was.
Of course, because you're an actor.
My other bit outside of that instinct was just that I was so excited to see everybody's little abilities that we had up our sleeves.
Oh, yeah.
And I felt like that investigation would give us a chance to flex those a little bit, and it did. I got exactly what I was looking for out of that scene of investigation, in that everybody had 1 or 2 little tricks that we got to flash for each other.
Yeah, Vel's investigation skill combined with his goggles of minute seeing was insane. Like, I don't know if you rolled. I don't know if you rolled below a 20.
No, I don't think I did, because I have a +10 and an advantage in investigation.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, we were doing knowing that it was some kind of mystery. I was like, when I was doing character creation, I was metagaming a little bit there, where I was like, okay, I'm gonna have expertise in investigation, but my wisdom, I have a -2 in wisdom.
Yeah.
Vel is not very wise.
He's book smarts, not street smarts.
Yeah. Which is, if funny considering like the way that he talks and acts.
Totally.
Like maybe that, I don't know. Maybe I should have balanced the stats a little bit more, but I was more so just concerned with like, I'm gonna improvise the roleplay aspects, and we'll let the character sheet do the work.
Yeah. Well, and you did know. I did tell you guys going into this that you were going to be a team of investigators. You knew that you were going to be the ufficiali di notte. So preparing your stats leaning in that direction makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, there's a reason that none of us went for the fighter or the barbarian.
Right.
We knew what these characters, the world that they lived in, and the environments that they'd be placed in. We had a general idea of the fact that this would be a mystery to unravel, with a lot of RP and investigation.
I'm trying to remember. I assume it was ahead of time that you sort of told us, Blake, that the world was based off of like a Renaissance version of Venice.
Yeah.
When as soon as I came up with the idea, I texted you guys and we're like, this is the world that we're going to be playing in. I hadn't even really fleshed it out that much.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think that also like informed some of the decisions as well.
Yeah.
Just like knowing that there were levels of Italian influence as well as like Renaissance.
Yep.
Yep. You look at any of, I don't know if we actually said this on the show, but like, I think in terms of how the pseudo-Italian part informed character stuff, especially with Shaina and Vel's accents. I think that yeah, you know, I thought it was pretty funny, and it was something that we talked about as well, where like Sini was like native to Seravene, and like, well, you were from the north, right?
I don't
Trying to remember.
Well, that was.
I remember just being an international, like.
Right, I think that was
from,
part of the improv.
Yeah.
In the very beginning, Casper said that if you swim in the water, you lose all your hair. And Sini was like, I've swum in these waters many times. You're not going to lose your hair. And I think that little nugget just kind of informed you, Shaina, of like that, or just informed everyone that this is where you were from. Because then when you were talking to Galateo, the merchant guild, guildmaster, you were talking about the wine, and I think Vel, you were like, Sini, you're from the north, right?
Oh, that's right. That's right.
He's like, yeah. I'm totally. It was. I think that like, aspect of Sini was just like sort of improv. Yeah. But then later at the end of episode 3, which we'll get to, when Vel is confronting the guildmaster, Shaina, you just went right. You said like, "This is my home. I'm not going to leave here." So it was like, it was a really subtle but like perfect example of how an improvised moment early on in a story can really develop and end up leading to this like beautiful moment.
But yeah, that's funny because you know, in the moment, I think ahead of time, I was thinking that I had lived in Seravene for a really long time, but you know, my past life took me everywhere. And I never really thought to myself that I'm from here until you said, are you from the north? And then, you know, thankfully I never said anything that contradicted that. But yeah, in my Sini heart of hearts, the Seravene was certainly my home, and I had been there a long time.
I think this leads to another great question from Nick that he sent in. Shaina,
Come on, Nick.
Do you want to read it?
Thank you to Nick for carrying the episode.
We've got others, but Nick is great.
Oh, Nick from NYC. He asks, for the GM, do you prefer when the game world has elements of our real world, like Venice in this case, or do you enjoy creating the world from scratch as well?
Great first read of that, Shaina.
Thank you.
Yeah,
I'm
really good cold read.
I'm good at cold reads.
Well, I am not the only GM in the group, but I will take this first and then we can pass it off. I like both. I think I do typically draw from real world places, like this one being sort of based on Venice, and then the game that I run every week at the theater is based in a Victorian New York City. But I also, like, my original home game was a just fantasy, sort of medieval, kind of typical high fantasy world. So I do think that drawing from places that you have a bit more of a touchstone to allows the world to feel more real and lived in, because you already have some of that experience with it. Even if you've never been there, you've seen media that is set in these places. But then to twist them and, you know, make it so I believe, I mean, I might be getting my history wrong, but I believe Venice originally was like a refuge from, it was built on the lagoon as like almost like a fortified city. But in our world, in Seravene, it was built there as a like safe haven from this magical war between angels and demons that was happening on the mainland. So it's fun to create almost like a parallel history. But I also have an idea for a future one-shot that is completely made up, kind of wholesale. So I like both.
Cool.
What do you think? What do you think, Brendan?
What do I think? I mean, it depends on the campaign. For me, I think that you'll see in season 2, maybe. How that maybe affects some of my decision making as well. So our home game, again, was just sort of a, I don't know, I don't want to say generic fantasy world. It has its intricacies, but like it's not really based off of anything other than like, it was just being a setting that was malleable enough for me to put anything that I wanted into it. So when we're thinking about like one-shots and things like that, I think it does help to have a very clear identity for your setting. Something that it's, if it's too generic, like just a normal Tolkien-esque fantasy world, I think that sometimes those elements can get lost, where it's like, okay, like, I think I basically know what's going on here in this world. But when you have something that's a little more robust and, I don't know, just clear cut, I think it can lend itself to better development of story and characters and, all of those elements. I feel like it's easier to give both the, NPCs and NPCs more of an identity that way.
100%. And I think actually part of the reason why this format appealed to me is because I constantly have ideas for a new campaign, and I don't want to be like, all right, we're throwing out this campaign that we've been playing for a year just so I can do this other version, or we're going to take a break from this campaign just so I can do this fun one-shot. Like, this is allowing me to scratch all those itches of like, I want to do a space opera, like, setting, something like that.
For us too, because then we get to create new characters, which, as Ethan and I both said, is the best part.
Yeah. Okay. Do you want to know some secret things that you didn't investigate, didn't find in the?
Please.
Yes.
So the main secret, and it didn't really influence the investigation at all, but had you looked in Seraldi's desk, and rolled high enough investigation, you would have found these old records from the Caravallo family that actually revealed what the truth behind the legend was.
Oh!
So they had sort of like the Renaissance version of overinsured their glass foundry on Vetra Island. And they were losing money hand over fist, so they decided to set the fire themselves.
Oh my
to collect the insurance
God.
money. And they left the bridge up not because they were trying to save Seravene, but because they wanted to make sure that no one could get over there to try to stop the fire.
Horrible.
And the reason they died a year later is because one of the survivors of the accident, actually a descendant of someone who had died, that's what it was. It was like the son of someone who had died. He began to work for them as a servant. And this is like something that, so you would have learned the conspiracy first, and then Seraldi himself found the records, like found the person who did this, or found the record, like a diary of the person who did this. The descendant, the son, started working for them as a servant to learn the ins and outs of the palazzo, and then on the 1-year anniversary of the accident where his parents died, he poured like hundreds of gallons of molten glass into all of the ventilation systems of the palazzo, so everyone inside was burned alive.
Oh my God! Oh my God!
Should have looked in the fucking desk.
Or no,
we'll
sorry.
we'll never not look at a desk again.
Right.
Ever.
This was actually it was they were in their morning prayer. This was happened a lot. We did this a while ago, so I'm trying to remember. They were in their. This is the reason the the chapel was filled with like dried molten glass was
Oh,
because they were
yeah.
they were in their morning prayers, and that's where he poured it on them.
Oh,
but
that's
then like
horrible.
it started a fire throughout the rest of it. So that's why like the chandelier was all messed up, the mosaic was all messed up. There was like that smell of ash and everything like that. But again, it didn't like, it's sort of like the whole backstory of your characters, that it wasn't necessary for you to discover this. It
Yeah.
was just like something to make the world feel more real. And like sometimes the mysteries and the questions are better than the answers.
I even think I asked at one point as Sini, like, what's our job? Like, what's the main purpose of our job?
Yes.
Because there's so much here. Like, what do we need to actually do again?
And actually, my wife was listening, and she was like, "Thank God for Shaina asking that question, because I was even wondering what it was at that point."
Oh, good. Oh, good.
Yeah. And then you went into the chapel, the guild chapel, to speak to Donata. And that was a moment of like pure role play that I thought was pretty great for you guys. Just the, I mean,
Good cop, sad
Good
cop.
cop. That's so
Good
good.
cop,
I mean,
sad cop.
good. Setting good cop, sad cop, emotional support animal aside, I just think that like for like the behind the curtain, a view behind the curtain, you know, I cut out like silences. I cut out like when I'm flubbing a narration moment. You know, I'll re-said something about 1 million times. But it's funny, in the improv role-playing scenes, there was very little to cut out. When we were all just in character talking to each other, it was very real and just no dead air, just like we were having a conversation with these characters. It was very cool. And I don't really have anything. I mean, you discovered everything there was to discover with Donata, and I think it was just I was very proud of you guys.
I think it was a case of us being very lucky to be able to do this with people we've been playing with for this long.
Yeah.
That said, this is my first time being a PC with Brendan also as a PC, but
Yeah.
I think we said this on the episode. We're all actors.
Right.
Sure.
And Brendan's acted with each of us. I've only ever gotten to act with Brendan, but I've acted with Brendan many, many times.
Many times.
I have played his father and his son.
Wait,
He has
I didn't know that.
understudied
That's
me,
hilarious.
and I have understudied him. But yeah, it was a case of we have all established kind of a shared language in terms of role playing. And I did love that scene, and that it got to clarify for me why these characters would be grouped together.
Yeah.
Because nobody went in with the same objective, and nobody went in with the same tactic.
Right.
Yeah.
We all had different things we wanted to find out from Donata, and we all did it in pretty wildly different ways, I think.
Well, I also loved the moment when Vel kind of was sort of steering into the Casper wheelhouse of trying to persuade her to like not forget anything. He's trying to use that like charisma that Casper is, you know, that's his thing. And it didn't work, and he's just like, forget you, like this, forget this shit. It's not my thing.
Who needs you anyway?
Yeah, exactly.
I definitely tried in that moment to meet the scene where it was at. You know, it felt like this very like delicate moment, and when you're playing a character that's not really a delicate person, you know, I don't know. I did feel in the Donata scene that I, after that failed attempt, I was like, okay, maybe this is not where Vel needs to insert himself. You know, maybe I take a back seat on this one and just sort of let it happen. Which I think, you know, is ultimately what I ended up doing. Because I had more snarky things to say to Brother Ronaldo later down the line.
Right.
But yeah.
But that is kind of the TTRPG thing. In case anyone doesn't know, that's tabletop role-playing game, just in case.
Oh shit! Were you?
Yeah, so that is the TTRPG thing. Is like everyone. It's always better to kind of optimize each character for its own thing, and rather than trying to create a character that's like pretty good at everything, because then when you have each character that has its sort of job in the group, then the group itself is balanced. So
Yeah.
when you were investigating, I mean, Vel was absolutely clutch. And then even like we might as well go to the Brother Ronaldo scene now, which is the top of episode 3, the top of the finale, because there were some roles that you made that were intelligence based, like a religion check that you rolled really high on, and so therefore you technically already knew the information about the martyrdom of Saint Caligo. I also want to say that I don't know what corner of my brain Brother Ronaldo emerged from, but he is now one of my favorite NPCs I've ever created. He will be showing up at some point again in the future. I will make sure of it. I don't know how, but I love him dearly.
He's a planeswalker. He walks between worlds.
Well, okay, that is actually another question. So, Anne in New Jersey asks if we will ever see these characters again. And that's something that we have talked about, is that kind of one of the benefits of this format is that we could return to Seravene and we could meet these 3 investigators again on another case. A year from now or something like that. If I'm struck with an idea that I really want to set in Seravene, I could do it. Or one of you guys could also do a game set in Seravene, and maybe like Vel is off doing something else, and Brendan, you're running it, and then I could like play as Brother Ronaldo.
I knew you were gonna say that.
Yeah,
I knew you were gonna say that you're
A soft pitch.
Yeah, just
soft
I don't.
pitch for.
I can see it all right now. It's just a soft pitch. I don't know why this ashen skinned tiefling, like he never sees the sun, and he's filed off his horns because he like doesn't want to show that he's descended from demons. I just am like, there's so much there. There's so many flaws that I could draw from.
My mom specifically called me to ask about what that was, because she didn't understand and didn't know what a tiefling one was, and was like, his horns are filed like demons. What? That was a fun phone call.
Well, thanks for listening, Mom.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. Yeah, so that was also something where I had anticipated telling you the story of Saint Caligo as Brother Ronaldo, but since Vel rolled such a high religion check, I just sort of like had to explain it as if Vel already knew. But that was just another moment of like DM got it flying by the seat of your pants kind of thing. I don't know. Is there anything else in that moment that you want to discuss, or are you guys okay to move on to the final confrontation?
I do just want to say that I highly regret not making Vel put his little rabbit head in her, like actually being emotional support animal. I should have made her cuddle him, and I'm sad about that. I regret it deeply.
That could have been a disastrous roll from Vel.
Help! She's crushing me. I wasn't expecting the devil from the Bible to be in.
That's one of my favorite moments. That devil.
Oh,
that's the big one. That's the one.
Because I mean, I was like, naming all of the nerd shit from the Forgotten Realm.
Asmodeus.
That was so funny.
Zariel, Asmodeus.
That was a good moment. I loved it.
Lucifer.
Those crusades, they really spread that shit around.
Oh my god.
So let's go ahead and go to the final confrontation with the glassmaker homunculus.
This incredible combat that you planned.
Dear God. I'm not gonna lie, I'm gonna reuse it somewhere because it is one of the greatest combat encounters I have ever planned.
Oh my god. Casper.
There was going to be like throughout each round the water level was going to get higher and like by the depending on how many rounds it lasted, you were going to be at like neck high water fighting this thing. There were going to be environmental things that the glassmaker could do of like collapsing certain parts of the catacomb.
Wow.
It was going to be a very dynamic, cool fight. But that is just the nature of having to be a dungeon master, is that when you can't, there's this thing that some DMs say that like you're not there to write a book. So like, even though I planned this combat encounter, even though that's the way I thought it was going to go, you have to react to what the players are giving you. And I kept having you roll persuasion checks. Like, so many persuasion checks of like, all right, I'm going to get him with one of these. And it was 26, 28, 23, like insane. And so I was like, all right, we're just not going to have combat. And I think it ended up actually being very dramatic and cool, just the way it happened. The one thing that I regret is not checking in with Sini and Vel when Casper said that he was going to make the ultimate sacrifice. I think that came as a surprise to you, which of course it would be in quote unquote real life, but since we are playing this game and telling this story, as the DM, I should have checked in with you to give you a moment of role play to try to convince him not to do it or something like that.
Yeah, because I thought he was just being deceptive. I thought he was just trying to derail the guy, the homunculus, as I forget the
for that that was an extremely easy choice to make as Casper. We didn't really get into this too much because it's a one shot. There's not that much
but that's what this
time
is
to
for.
get into backstory. Casper's whole thing is that he's here because he wants to actually be a hero. And so like the care that went into how Casper approaches other people and Casper trying to be so friendly. There's a brief moment where I say, when we talk about good cop, sad cop, I say my father and I used to run that trick. And so there's a redemptive aspect of this that also gets nodded to in Casper's last words about his son. And the decision was made so quickly also in Casper trying not to give them a chance to try and talk him out of it.
Right.
And I actually, for a glimpse behind the curtain, did apologize to everybody after this. Like my first thing that I said after we wrapped was, hey, I'm sorry that I like jumped on that in case either of you guys had something you wanted to offer there. And then I think both of you said, our characters would never have done that, dude. There's no chance. I was like, man, I should have checked in if they wanted to do it. And you were like, we didn't.
Yeah.
We didn't want that.
Yeah. There was listening back to it as I was editing, I did have a moment where I thought like, oh wow, Ethan really just like that was a no-brainer because when the lantern was like a soul freely given cannot be damned, you were like, oh, okay, yeah, let's do that.
Yeah. Yeah, not to go off on a little tangent. Casper's son is not Casper's son. Casper, when he was a con artist, when he was around 13, found a dead sheriff on the side of the road.
Oh.
And became that sheriff and went into town. And then it turned out that sheriff had been running for mayor and had a full family. And from the age 13 to 23, I think Casper pretended to be this family's dad and then became mayor of a town.
I remember this. I forgot.
Yes, I talked about this very briefly. And then the kids found out that their dad was actually dead and Casper had raised them for 10 years. And they were like, you're a 23-year-old criminal.
I wish we had talked about that because that's so good.
And so then that's why Casper wanted to be a hero for his son, because the kids were like, you're a fucking monster.
Aww.
That'll be Seravene part. Shadows and Seravene, the quest for Casper's son.
Yeah.
Just so I'm a robot now.
Yeah.
Which also, what a great little.
So,
and you came up with that in the moment, clearly, right? That was great.
Well, so I had thought ahead of time that if one of you, so each of the objects, the relics that you guys had, would have offered this to you in some way. They would have all done it in a different manner. Like the book would have, like, the ink of the book would have like penetrated the person sacrificing themselves would have like penetrated their veins and like lashed them to the sarcophagus, and then like in the flash of light, the saint's face would have been replaced with like that person's face. I can't remember what the mirror was going to do. Or like if Vel had sacrificed themselves, I was going to have them like curled up at the saint's feet, like as a statue, like as a sleeping little bunny. But
adorable.
If one of you had decided to make this sacrifice with whichever relic it was going to be, they were eventually going to take over. Their spirit was going to inhabit Heinrich at the end. That was the plan.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But there were other options. I mean, you could have theoretically let the glassmaker complete the ritual, which would have saved the city, but also like would have basically opened up portals to the Nine Hells or something like that. So you would have been in business for a really long time.
Damn.
The one of the options was to kill the glassmaker and then just try to get everyone out of the city. And I had actually, I had a roll chart that I would have had you each roll a certain stat, and depending on those rolls, it would have indicated how many people you were able to get out of the city before it sunk into the lagoon, before it was swallowed. So yes, the ultimate sacrifice was kind of the most interesting, I think, option, and it definitely provided for the best story. But there were other options available to you, theoretically.
Yeah, I think that the Heinrich moment at the end, you texted me
Yes.
Actually.
Yes, I did.
About 15 minutes before we got there.
Yeah.
And said, figure out what your first words are going to be, because you're about to be Heinrich.
Right.
And then that was a fun no-brainer on my end also of we'd had this conversation. I think Vel and I had a conversation about what it feels like to wear a face.
Yeah.
And it doesn't quite fit.
Yeah.
And I mean, before you texted me that, I did have this moment of going, oh, did I just tank the tone of this thing? Because tonally, permadeath for a PC in this story is a really heavy move. Because it's not it's not all sunshine and roses, this story that was being told.
100%.
But permadeath in any D&D campaign, whether or not if it's 5 hours or if it's 100 hours.
Right.
Losing a character is really tough. This was my first time dying as a PC.
Yeah.
And it hit harder than anticipated.
I swear I didn't tell Ethan to make this segue, but we do have a question from Instagram that definitely applies to this. Brendan, would you mind reading it?
Sure. This question comes to us from Derek, and Derek asks, question for the players, did y'all expect things to take such a momentous turn in tone and outcome going into the story?
No.
Yeah, I think Ethan...
Nope.
I lean heavy as a actor and improviser. So like it had occurred to me that this would happen. In my freshman year college improv class, the running joke was that every time I did a scene, it would end sad. So the thought had occurred to me, but no, I didn't think that this would go where it went at all until the very last probably 15 minutes of talking to the homunculus. It occurred to me maybe this is the end. Once I took on Seraldi,
Yeah,
went, oh, this might be it.
It was unexpected, but it was great. I mean, it really was. And I love, Brendan, that you took it to that darker side, in your reaction when we got back to, after that moment, and you were angry, and that was really good because that kind of like shocked me into like, oh my God, like really realized what just happened. And I thought that moment that you initiated was really great there at the end.
As the dungeon master in that moment, when we were playing, I was just like, I was very much trying to be in the scene with you as Galateo, even though I was, petrified. But like in my heart, I was just smiling from ear to ear because I was just like, yes, go to the place. Yes, tell the story.
Ethos.
Yes. And it is interesting. I think a lot of the times people, when they think of improv, they think of like sketch comedy, but it can be any type of storytelling that is just not necessarily planned ahead of time. And yeah, that scene when you had the flames against Galateo's face was awesome. Like what made you, how did you get to that place, and like what were you thinking in the moment, if you can remember?
Yeah, I mean, I think it was just sort of once the shock of what had happened to Cass had dissipated a little bit, I tried to think of like, who would Vel blame? Who is to blame for this tragedy in his mind? And how is he going to grapple with these feelings? Sort of being the, I don't know, for lack of a better term, the rocket raccoon of the group.
Yeah.
I think that the first the instinct is violence in a lot of cases, rather than any kind of self-reflection or going to internal. So I think that if I think if Sini hadn't talked Vel out of it to some degree, I think he would have killed Galateo and just dealt with the consequences later.
Mm-hmm.
And to be fair, I mean, this wasn't talked about a whole lot, but Vel used to be a regular rabbit. Like he used to be a regular rabbit that was given sentience, and for better or for worse, was basically like this. This is something that Blake and I had talked about, just in terms of like the world of Seravene, and how some of the races functioned, but like Vel specifically was a normal rabbit that gained sentience and sort of got upgraded because he was just affected by wild magic fallout.
Yeah, from the wars on the mainland, there was essentially like nuclear fallout, but it was wild magic.
Did we know that?
I don't know.
I don't think we ever talked about it.
You mentioned it.
I think Brendan, you dropped it. Very briefly.
Oh, I love that.
Off mic once.
I wish I would have known.
Yeah, I think so.
It's in the episode somewhere. You say it almost offhand. You're like, what do I know? I'm just a rabbit who was like born of magical fallout. Like,
oh my God, you're right. Yes,
or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I missed that.
I forgot I said that.
So cool.
Yeah.
Well, because I don't know. There like the backstory for Vel changed a couple of times, but like the reason that I brought that up is because Vel was just a normal rabbit. Vel is like 4 years old. Like he's very young, and although he has been gifted like sentience and for the past, however long it's been, moved in the same circles as people like Seraldi, before he was working for the Officiali di Notte, he like, he hasn't been alive that long.
Right.
And so I think to have sort of this more like immature reaction to a friend's death, and to lash out with this power that he's been given is it just made sense to me at the time.
Yeah.
But also another thing is I don't remember if this is where we landed, because originally Heinrich was going to be a homunculus that I built.
Right.
But then we sort of changed that to being like I upgraded him, but he was actually like a warforged that was from like a millennia ago or something like that.
Yeah, that's correct. It was a war
shut down.
Yeah, he was a warforged that was used in those magical wars many centuries ago, and you found him like, I think like broken like in the remnants of a battlefield, and it brought him back to life.
Oh, yeah. Also so cool.
Yeah. That's part of the reason why I'm like, I do want to go back to Seravene at some point.
Yeah.
Just because these characters are so cool that you guys created, and I don't want them to be just gone. But we also...
They live on.
Yeah, they do. But also we have ideas for other characters and other settings, and
we sure do.
Yeah, and playing with other game systems. So I think we will come back to Seravene at some point. But for now, we've got other plans in the works. Speaking of which, we
tune into season 2.
Yeah,
where we play such thrilling characters like Nerd and Child of Divorce.
Yeah, so Brendan is going to be our game master for season 2, arc 2. Is there
Indeed.
anything you want to tell the audience, or do you want to just leave it a mystery? Do you want to tell them the game system or anything?
It's gonna be, it's a mystery.
Okay, cool.
And I mean that literally and figuratively.
Yeah.
Talk about a total shift.
Yes.
In a way, yeah, but also kind of not. Like there are elements of season 2 that are not dissimilar to this campaign when I look at it from a bird's eye view now, but we won't I don't want to spoil too much of it.
Really One Night One Shot is just a way for each of us to exercise our dark demons.
Absolutely.
So look for that kind of coming this fall is sort of what we're planning on.
That's the goal.
Around Halloween time ish. We'll blast it out on all the socials once we have a date. And in the meantime, we have some plans for some other content that will come out now and then in between. Things like totally improvised D&D, and Brendan and I do want to do a ghost hunting show at some point, but that is definitely that is not on brand right now.
It's me, I'm the ghost.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Ethan's the ghost. I mean,
I'm in your walls, Brendan.
I'm trying to I'm trying to figure out a way to incorporate it into the TTRPG world where we have to like roll a d20 to decide where we go and things like that.
Oh my god.
Roll for crucifix.
Who's going into this room?
Yeah, it's basically an excuse for me and Brendan and if whoever else wants to join us to travel around the tri-state area and visit creepy places.
Roll for if you get above a 16, you're going to West Orange. If you roll low, you're going to Poughkeepsie.
Western State Penitentiary.
Perfect.
Yeah. If we do that, it will just be a lot of me pooping my pants and fainting out of fear.
Oh no.
But it's
That's
good.
very fair.
It'll be entertaining to say the least. All right, gang.
This is also, I do want to say that this is also sort of our soft launch for our in-between podcast called Another Round.
Yes.
Which we're not, I don't know, there may be a drinking aspect of this in the future, but right now it's just sort of our in-between thing where we're talking about stuff, and this is definitely more of an official format, but we will be back with more episodes of Another Round in the future, where me, Blake, and anyone else who'd like to join us will just be talking about stuff.
Yeah. Nerdy, cool stuff.
Cool nerd stuff.
Yeah.
If you have me drink, I will be talking about Shakespeare, and I need to warn you now. It's gonna get bad.
Make sure the beverages
I think
are
that
light.
falls into nerddom, so it'd be appropriate.
It does.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Maybe that's a glimpse into when Ethan is the GM for his arc.
Yeah.
Maybe. Who knows?
Ooh.
All right. Well, I think we can leave it there. Thank you to everyone who listened with us and hung out with us for this time. And follow us on all the socials at ONOS Podcast. And stay tuned. We will let you know when something else is about to drop. But for now, we'll take a break. And yeah, thanks everyone for listening. Okay, bye.
Bye.
Bye.